Hello, Mr. Andy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in a Tier 10 Soviet medium tank, the Object 430. But today I will be using the new gun, which basically came out in the recent update. They added a gun to this tank to replace the previous 100mm gun, which had sort of 320 alpha, a very quick rate of fire, to add an additional gun of 122mm, which basically had slightly less rate of fire, but increased the alpha to 390 alpha, and basically a little bit less accurate than the previous gun. Now, I've actually, firstly I must say I've never actually played this tank with the 100mm gun, mainly because I never really got around to playing this tank before, because I had all the other Russian mediums, and I never really felt the need to play it, especially now with the buff to the T62A. It's just going to be superior with that smaller gun than the Object 430, in my opinion. So when they added this bigger gun, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, and I've actually, I've actually really enjoyed it. In between to the DPM, there's not a lot difference between the 100mm and 122mm. I think the 122mm does have slightly better DPM, but not by much. But yeah, anyway, let's just get on with the video and we can see what this tank can do with the 122mm. Okay, let's get to it then. So the first replay we have is on Pilsen. It is standard battle. There is 2 enemy light tanks in the game and 1 enemy fun police. Now, from this spawn, I am going to make quite an aggressive play at the start, which is a little bit risky. I kind of expect to eat some hit points, probably lose some hit points at the start of the game, but I do it because Pilsen can get a little bit stale, and if I do take this position, it does deny the enemy a lot of control over this side of the map. So I'm basically essentially want to try and get to the A4-5 position, and I'm going to cross early, which means if there is tanks there, which there's normally a couple, I probably am going to get shot a bit, and I'm just kind of hoping that I'm going to get there, and not be too badly punished. So far I get across, I do end up eating a couple of shots, and I basically lose 900 hit points. But now I've got to this location, I've probably made it there safely, and I'm okay with losing those hit points, if I'm honest, because now I've got here, I've denied the enemy a location. You see where this E75 is? They can no longer play there because I'm going to be able to get shots into the side of them. So if they do, I'm eventually going to be able to kill them. So they have to end up moving. It does work a little bit better if you've got a bit more gun depression, because this tank obviously only has the 5 degrees of gun depression, which means it's awkward, but it's still usable by using this ridge to try and get your gun up and get the shots in. So you can see the E75's already had to lose, so you relocate, and then we managed to get a shot into that AVRE. And we've also denied where this enemy Foch was, and the other heavy tank have had to push all the way back round the corner, because if they don't, they're 3 kills for us in this location. So we've had we've lost a bit of hit points, but it's worked out okay because we've got here and we're still alive. We've still got 1,000 hit points to play with, and now we've taken control of this side of the map. So I do like to shoot down these little bits of wall. Those will cover, so I know if there's tanks there, I can spot tanks and try and get shots in. We get one into the Object 780, damaging their ammo rack. And now any tanks that poke round, like this 780, we're able to get a few shots in. We get one in. There's quite a few tanks with us here. We damage his fuel tank there, I believe, and set him on fire. Because that tank is just basically moving fuel tank. You seem to, the fuel tank is in front of the tank, and you damage it a lot when you're fighting that Object 780. So now we're just trying to wait to see if there's going to be any more tanks that push around, but they're obviously aware that we're here now, so it's going to be less likely that they're going to be poking, because they know they're going to get punished. So I'm looking just to see if I can get any other shots in. One thing I forgot to mention about this 122mm gun over the 100 is you do lose the heat rounds as the premium ammo, so you do lose that 330 heat. You still have 311 depending on the premium APCR rounds of the 122mm. But there are some occasions where you think, oh, it might be handy to have had those heat if you're fighting those super heavies and things like that, to make sure it's more of a guaranteed pen. But for the most part, that's not really been found. I've not found that to be a big problem, for at least for me anyway. I guess it's the good thing about having the two guns now is it does mean that you can, whatever your play style is, you can change up. But for me, I've just really enjoyed having this gun because at least it makes it a little bit different to the other Russian medium tanks you can play. So I've had a decent start to this game. I've got 3,000 damage, and it got picked up a kill, and it's not been too bad. It's still a pretty close game. This E6 is crossed, and we managed to get a nice high roll into the E6. And hopefully, if they keep peeking there, we should be able to keep getting shots in. Got to be careful when I poke out like this, because I was exposing the side, exposing my track, so I could get a shot through the track wheel. So I'm going to try and now play a little bit more safe and actually try and side scrape off of this building here to get shots into the E6. Now I know its location, and you can see I did manage to block a shell there off of the E6. Pre-aiming to hope that they poke again, try and get shots into us, and then we can at least get another shot in and then pull back to safety. I've got to be a little bit patient because ideally I'd like to get to the A4, A5 position to try and get involved and shoot the enemy team in the base, but it's not the time to get there yet. I would end up dying making that cross at this position while you've got tanks like this E6 and that Leopard, which is going to spot me and get shots into them. So hopefully we can able to whittle down those tanks. We should then be able to maybe make the cross. E6 is not poking anymore, so I'm looking to see. I can see that in the left hand side of the map, but I might be able to get a shot into this Sheridan. I have to extend like that because I can't side scrape off the building to get the shot, because you only have to 5 degrees of gun depression and there's a ridge behind me. I wouldn't be able to do that, and you see I got lazy there and I didn't really properly side scrape onto that E6, and I was over angling basically, so I ended up getting penned by the E6. But now I just want to try and finish it off because it's still a close game. It's 8 versus 7. But yeah, no, we're starting to whittle down the enemy team. We've got rid of that E6 there now, which hopefully will allow us freedom to maybe try and push up and try and get to the A7 spot if possible, and deal with the. Once we've got there, we should be able to get shots of the enemy team basically in their base from a lot more cover. But it's hasn't been possible for me to get over there quite yet. T49 does poke, but we miss our shot there. But they actually, thankfully for us, does the same thing again. We get another shot, putting us onto 5,000 damage. Then this pattern crosses in the open. We've got easy shots here. We damage his engine, so we end up picking a little bit of track assistance, and yes, that's another tank taken out of the game. It's 8 versus 5. And I feel like now the E6 and that Leopard have been destroyed, and this T49 isn't poking us anymore to light us at this point. This is my best moment to try and get across, because once I've got across, I kind of feel like the game is probably won if I manage to get there safely, because I have shots at things like this Object 780, anything in that location, they will no longer be safe. I'm looking to see if I can get a shot into this Object 780 before I get across, because I'm not spotted at the moment. I go for a shot in the lower plate. I do get lit for taking the shot, but unfortunately I don't penetrate it. The camo is okay in this tank. It's not amazing, but it's still fairly decent. I want to try and push over now, but I need to find out where the waffle is, because the waffle obviously could take us out, especially if it's using that big gun. But thankfully the waffle doesn't have shots at us, which allows us to make the cross into the position. We do spot the enemy Fun Police, and we're going to go for a shot straight through the track wheels, keep them in place, and then we can hopefully just take out and farm all the hit points of this T92. We get another one in, and then he gets taken out. The enemy light tank T49 is probably our next target if we can get shots. There's only 2 tanks remaining. We're just trying to get as much out of this as we can. We get one in, we pull back just so he doesn't have an easy shot on us, and then we manage to pick up the kill. Confirming ourselves the 3rd kill and putting us onto 7,200 damage. We've only 1 tank remaining. We want to make sure we aim this and get this shot in. I do use avert stabs on this tank just because with the bigger gun it is a little bit less accurate, and I do find it helps. And that is the end for the replay number 1. So we get 3 kills, 7,600 damage, only the first class, high caliber, and a little bit of assistance, and 2,000 blocked. So that is it for replay number 1, but I will stop rambling and see you for the next replay. Okay, so here we are for the second replay of the video. We are on the standard battle on Mali. There is one enemy fun police in the game, but no enemy light tanks. Now, as there's no light tanks in this game, I am going to play an aggressive position straight off the bat. We're going to push to the D6 location so we can spot any enemy tanks on that ridge at that area, and any of the enemy tanks who push up towards the hill and maybe get some side shots into them. As we approach, we spot this medium tank who does miss his shot, struggling with the gun depression, and now we're just hoping we don't get hit before we get to that location. Enemy fun police has shot and missed, which is good, and we've got there safely and kept all our hit points intact. So we should now be able to spot anything crossing or anything on this ridge. I poke up nice and high at the start to make sure I spot as many enemy tanks as possible. We spot this M103 and a few heavy tanks going towards the hill. Hopefully we should be able to squeeze in a shot at that MO3, which we do, damaging in their ammo rack. And yes, I'm picking up a little bit of assistance. So we are getting detected obviously spot, which is fine, but nothing's aiming at us at the moment until now, which is at 780, who is pushing across. At this point I'm thinking he might be full sending me, so I've got to be a little careful. But it looks like he's turned and he's actually moving across the centre part of the map. So hopefully I should be able to get a few side shots upon them as they move. Got to be a little bit careful about a MIL2, which is potentially looking for shots at us as we poke, but I'm trying to keep everything spotted as much as we can. Obviously we do only have the 5 degrees of gun depression, but you still can make that work by using this ridge. You know, so it does limit you a little bit. It does sometimes mean you're a little bit more exposed because I have to poke up a little bit higher. But so far, we've done okay. We picked up 1,500 damage, a little bit of assistance, and we're still detecting the enemy team. But our friendly teammate is actually making their way down the one line. If they clear that one line out on the left-hand side, that means I should be able to push over up on this ridge because I will know that there's no enemy tanks there, and then I can collapse on the damage, which is all on the hill at the moment. So as you can see, he's pushed down the one line. I know I'm clear to move around here, and now I can take out this enemy fun police and then make my way to the remainder of the damage, which is located on the hill. So we get quite a few nice shots in there. As we poke around, we've got this M60. They get one into us, we get one into the track. We should beat the reload for the kill here because they are ammo racked, and we do that, picking up another kill and around about 3,000 damage and 2,000 assistance. So we've had just a decent start to the game. We have taken all control away from the enemy team now. They've got no map control. The whole enemy team is upon the hill. If we can get up behind them, it's just going to be, it's only going to end one way at that point because the enemy team are going to be pinned. They're going to be fighting from multiple angles whilst getting shot by our friendly fun police as well. And they're really going to be in an awkward situation. But I've got this enemy bar here, and I want to try and get close and make sure I can keep him tracked in place. Obviously that thing has 0 gun depression. If he comes around on me though and does get shot, he's going to slap us and it's not going to be pretty. But thankfully we'll manage to keep him tracked in place as he goes around looking for a shot. He should either get taken out by me or our friendly team. He does get taken out. We eat one shot, but we're still fairly healthy with 4,000 damage, 2,600 assistance. Looking for any shots on any enemy tank over peaking there. But now we should be able to make our advance and get behind the enemy team. It's 11 versus 6 here. We should be fairly comfortable we're going to win this game at this point. We just want to try and maximise our damage and get as much out of this game as possible. So we're getting there as fast as we can and just try and get any shots in. See, we've got this object in front of us. We go for a shot. Maybe we should aim a little bit higher there into the turret, but it doesn't matter. We do manage to get a second shot as he makes his exit. Looking for another shot into this Sturm Tiger here. It doesn't quite land. And then we get pushed by this object. We get one in for the lower plate here. He rams us, putting him onto a one-shot. Now, I make a little bit of a mistake here. At this point, I can't actually pen the front. I don't know why I'm going for that pen just because of the angle. I thought I might have been able to get my gun down the pen a little bit lower, but what I should have done there is just shot the cupola, because I've lost I lost damage that I didn't need to take. Then this waffle is coming in for us, and I'm thinking at this point I'm probably dead. Obviously, he doesn't have the best gun depression over the front of his tank, but thankfully for me, he does bounce that shot, and I'm able to stay alive, which is good because now I can get more damage into this Sturm Tiger and try and get as much out of this as I can. We've got 6,000 damage, 4,000 assistance, and there is only 3 enemy tanks remaining. Obviously, that Sturm Tiger could just slap us here, but we want to get as much in this as we can. We wait till it exposes his lower plate. Now that it's exposed, we've got this quick, with the quick reload, really. For 390 alpha, you've got really decent reload. 5.5 seconds for 390 alpha is nice. And we end up ending that game with around about 7,000 damage, just shy of 4,000 assistance, and picking up 3 kills and a little bit of block damage, and we do go on to pick up the ace tanker and the high caliber. So that is it for replay number 2, and I will see you in a bit for the final replay. Okay, so here we are for the final replay here on Ellenberg. There is 2 enemy fun police and an enemy light tank in the game, and from this spawn, on the southern spawn, initially we're going to push straight across up the north, see if we can spot anything crossing, see if we can get any damage. Obviously we have 2 fun police on our team, maybe pick up a bit of assistance if we do spot any enemy tanks, work out what's there, and then adjust from there. Either make the decision of continuing to push or make the decision to return back to base, depending on what's needed. So we get a nice shot there into the wheelie boy on the move. High roll in for just over 400 damage there, so it's a decent roll and a decent start to the game. We're trying to avoid getting shot by the enemy fun police there as they were detected, and we can see as a tree's knocked down, it does look like someone's going to come around this ridge. It is a machine. We need to get back safe now. They bounced 1 shot at us there, they fired 2 shots, fired 3 shots. Now we believe they're out. So we do not want to let this machine escape, so we're going to drive straight in front of them, knowing they can't shoot us as they're reloading, and just try and get a shot into the track to keep them in place so they can't escape from that position. And thankfully, so it's a very decent start to the game. We 1 shell, but we've now taken out a top tier machine, which is obviously a dangerous tank. Now the machine has been destroyed, we're just going to poke this ridge again, just to work out if we spot anything, see if there's anything more coming. As we do that, we spot a light, we just take a chancy little gamble, just in case we blind fired them on the move. Doesn't work out, but we also don't spot anything else coming this way. So that means they're either all defending their base and just camping on their ridge, which I imagine there'll be some tanks doing that, or they are pushing towards our cap. And I would like to get back to our base as quickly as possible to try and spot them before they get too close. What I don't want to happen is for them to completely cross this this side of the map and get underneath our ridge, because that's going to then put us under a lot of pressure. It means 2 of our tanks, our fun police, would die, and it would be awkward. But if we can keep them here, basically in front of us, and keep them lit, then they're going to get shot from our hill, they're going to get shot by our fun police, and we should be able to keep them in an awkward trapped location. We get a nice shot there into that enemy light tank, confirming the kill, and that has removed all the enemy light tanks from the game, so that is nice. And now we're just going to try and use these bushes here just to poke and keep anything which is crossing spotted, so that we can get claim the assistance damage. And as I say, prevent them from getting underneath our ridge, because that's what we don't want to happen. We get a nice shot into the E75, and then we spot 2 enemy tanks crossing towards us. And because we spotted them early, they are taking some punishment for this. We are picking up a little bit of assistance damage. And now we're just going to keep trying to poke, because we are got a low profile tank, so it doesn't, it is easier to keep it hidden in this position. Obviously I don't have the gun depression, so it makes it awkward for me to poke for shots. but I can keep poking out that they're close to keep them proxy spotted, because as I said, I've got 2 enemy fun police which are shooting them, so we are picking up assistance. So if they stay where they are, they're going to continue to get shot at as long as we can keep them detected, and there's nowhere really for them to go, because if they try and escape now and leave, then I'm going to spot them as they leave. They're going to get shot from our tanks on the hill. If they stay where they are, they're going to slowly bleed to the fun police. So they are trapped in this location. As you can see, that is the danger when you do push across this side and you don't manage to win it and actually get underneath the ridge. If you get underneath the ridge on this side, then it's awkward, because you've already, it basically means you're proxy spotting all the enemy TDs on the hill, and they can't, easily poke over for shots. So we're just going to keep a spotting. As I said, it's difficult for me to actually get shots into tanks like this IS-7 at the moment, because I have to expose myself, and obviously I know there is tanks behind these tanks looking for shots on us, because we can see the shells coming in. We can see that we are detected. So I'm just going to keep proxy spotting them, because at the moment the fun police is doing a good job at taking them out. We just need to do our job and keeping them detected for as long as possible, to mean that we can get the shots in. So already we had a decent start to this game, 2,500 damage, 2,600 assistance, and picked up a kill with the assistance damage still coming in. E6 now gets blind fired by our friendly SU fun police, and that's taken out, which leaves just this E75 on our right and this IS-7, which we managed to get a shot in, but we do eat one in return from an A tank in the distance. But now that IS-7 gets taken out, that has cleared us for our advance. We're now going to try and push across, get up underneath the ridge in front of us, and then we can get shots into the E75 from behind and spot any of the remaining tanks, like this heavy tank on the front of us, which is there putting shots into us, so we can pick up more assistance from our fun police, putting us under 4,000 assistance and 3,000 damage. And it's still a fairly close game, 9 versus 8 at the moment. Ideally, I'd like another tank to come with me in this at this moment, so I've got a bit of support. We're trying to get a shot into E75 as we move. I didn't stop to aim that shot because I didn't want to get shot from this heavy tank there. Maybe I should have done, but we do get safe now from the shots on the E75 and shots from this heavy tank. Unfortunately for me, the enemy fun police remaining is still trying to destroy us, and it means I need to keep moving because I don't want to get taken out. I want to try and take out this E75 on our right hand side, so that I won't have to risk getting shot from behind by this tank. We're looking for the finish. Unfortunately, we do get the shot in, but we don't roll high enough to kill the E75, but they do then get shut down, which leaves me able to now safely push towards this heavy tank, take out the kill, and now just try and dodge and hope we don't get shot by the enemy fun police, trying to get up towards the castle so that prevents their line of fire, prevents them having an opportunity to shoot us. Now, the remainder of our team is still in our base at the moment. I would like them to come with us so we can just I can get a little bit of support. But I'm going to push, and we spot this SU who's a one shot. We get that shot in before we're able to eat one, because obviously that would have hurt. The enemy fun police is looking for shots, trying to get safe behind this building now so they can't shoot us, or at least they can't get a direct hit. They're going to only be able to splash us and see if we can spot any more of the tanks. We get detected there, so that's not a safe spot to push. There is still 4 enemy tanks and a light tank left on this game, and I don't really have support, so maybe I should wait for support here, but I'm probably not going to because I'm impatient. And we're going to push to see if we can spot any more teams. We do spot that fun police which was shooting at us, and it's always good to try and get revenge, and hopefully now we should be able to get the finish, and we do, and we pick up the kill of getting rid of the threat of the fun police. We then got a 2-shot medium tank to us here. We're going to just chance a shot just in case it went into a cupola or something. It doesn't happen, but wasn't really expecting it to. And now we're just going to push through to keep them lit for our fun police. And at the moment I can only see 1 tank there, so I'm like, have they all pushed around? But as we go around, there is an SU as well, so there's now 2 tanks. I don't know where the other tanks are, but then I spot the enemy Batchat on the far right hand side. So I've pushed in, because if that Batchat comes into us, it's going to kill us. So we're just hoping we can just out DPM these tanks and hopefully bounce a shot. We bounced one off the SU. Now I should be able to kill both of these tanks, I suspect, before I get taken out. I'm going to eat one here off the SU maybe. Unfortunately we do eat that one, which is a shame. We are going to be able to get a kill in the medium, but unfortunately for us, that threat, the enemy Batchat had now come in and has just taken us out. But taking out those tanks, we have left it now in a 5 versus 2. So hopefully we've done enough for our team to win. Like I say, maybe I could be a bit more patient at the end, but I was probably never going to do that. So that unfortunately brings the end for me. So I'm not going to make you watch all of this. We do go on to get the victory. So I'll see you in the scoreboard in a second. Okay, so we finished that game with 6 kills, 6,000 damage, 4,000 assistance and 1,500 blocks, and confirming the ace tanker and high caliber. So that is it for the video today. So thank you so much as always for your fantastic support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!